The mission of Harvard Business School is to educate leaders who make a difference in the world. The Alumni Achievement Award recognizes those leaders who truly exemplify the mission of the school, who are role models for what it means to make a difference in the world. These are people who have always thought about the ways in which they can create value for society through their business, but even beyond. Joanna Jacobson, she's a remarkable businesswoman who had successfully led 2 turnarounds and is now applying the lessons that she learned from her business career to help others. Andrei Jakurski, he has built 2 companies that have had amazing track records. Beyond that, Andrei also invests in other institutions that he believes can advance society both in Brazil and in other parts of the world. Tom James, he transformed a small family business into a global financial powerhouse. He created thousands of jobs and has been deeply dedicated to making his local community a thriving, better place. Ty Lee, after buying a failing software firm that everybody told her she should not touch, over the last 25 years, Ty Lee has built a firm that has become one of the leading software and services suppliers in the world. Roger Sant, he built AES into a global energy company that was renowned for its commitment to sustainability. Roger Sant has now brought the same passion to his philanthropic endeavors, making our planet a more sustainable living place.
When I got my acceptance letter to HBS, I was completely thrilled, called my father immediately. It just sort of was like a dream come true. It's not like I had some distinguished career in something that I should get into HBS. So I didn't necessarily expect to get in, and I was just so happy. I think a lot of people want to go to Harvard Business School for the brand. Who wouldn't? I wanted to go to Harvard Business School for the education. There are very few points in your lifetime where you can be surrounded by such a large number of incredibly smart people who are all there with a common purpose.
I was very young. I had no big business experience. It opened up my mind to think big. And I always say that it costs the same thing to think big as to think small, which is one of the things I learned there. The second thing was to build confidence. And then when I left, I had a completely different outlook on the world. It changed my life.
Harvard College is a great place, but Harvard Business School was even a better place for me because of the similarity of everyone there and their total immersion in business. All we did was talk business, whether it was preparing for cases, whether it was actually being involved in case discussions. So I really enjoyed the business school. The experience was just terrific.
I came to HBS frightened because I still did not speak English well enough to participate in class to the extent that I wanted to. And so I took on a task of memorizing dictionary. I left HBS a much more confident person, feeling like I could tackle entrepreneurship and become successful.
You know, I pretty much loved it from the beginning. I was scared, but I had fun in just about every class that I went to. The most satisfying experiences have come from choosing to do things that you felt passionate about rather than things that you thought would be financially rewarding or in any other way rewarding. Deep down, we're all people who realize that we have a higher mission in life, and you see enough evidence of that in the younger generation.
The Harvard Business School education prepares our graduates to go out and have great business careers. These distinguished alumni have had truly remarkable careers as business leaders.
In 1989, my husband at the time and I purchased a software house, and we very promptly named the company Software House International to signify our ambition to become an international company. SHI has grown organically without mergers or acquisitions. We posted less than $1 million in sales our first year, and this year we're projecting to do over $5 billion in revenue. If we're a publicly held company, we'd be listed on Fortune 500 company this year. We wanted to build a different company where we can consider the interests of all the key stakeholders and where we can make everyone, customers, employees, shareholders, vendor partners, and the community a winner.
Well, we started the company in 1981, and we felt like if we could put the generation of electricity on an industrial site, then you could make steam, which could also be used in the industrial process, and that would allow you to have greater efficiency because you're getting two uses out of it instead of one. And with $1 million of capital, we put together a $275 million power plant project, and it was just growing leaps and bounds. And we had 4 values in the company when we started it. One of them was fun. And we just clearly thought that, unless this is fun, we shouldn't be doing it.
I got a phone call from a headhunter to go to an interview at Converse Corporation. And it was in bankruptcy. And the chairman, who was a wonderful man, gave me sort of carte blanche to redo strategy there. And we ended up really upending the business strategy, both in the athletic side of the business and the fashion side, which was with Chuck Taylors, and did a very aggressive shift, which ultimately ended up growing the business by $200 million in 3 years. And I found at Converse that what I really loved was turnarounds. Wouldn't you rather start at something that's really messed up and try to fix it? Because there's really only one way to go, which is up. I think what you bring to the table as the leader is identifying for people what the goal is and the rules for how to get there. Broad rules. People can achieve great things given direction and boundaries.
In 1983, I joined forces with a guy from another bank, and we started a broker-dealer called Pactual, which became later on an investment bank. And from beginning of '84 until 1997, the bank went from $600,000 of capital, and we made $1.5 billion. It was the biggest. I don't think there was any other company in this country ever which had such a huge return on investment. After I sold it, I started the company I run today, which is called JGP. And this year we're going to be 15 years old in October. I started with a big firm and now I have a smaller firm. So, and I like small, I don't like big.
When I became CEO in 1970, I felt that we needed to have a more professional sales force than we did. So we started focusing on hiring higher quality raw talent. I think I have performed about as well as I can, which doesn't make me perfect in any sense of the word. We also have 14,000 associates now. So if you ask me what I would attribute all this growth to, I would tell you, following my father's #1 rule, was it's all about people. You have to have very good people. You have to delegate authority to those people. I think if you apply those principles and hard work ethic, you will be successful in business.
Graduates of Harvard Business School not only have great business careers, they have a remarkable impact on the communities that they're a part of. They are philanthropic in the broadest sense. Not only do they impact the local communities that they belong to, they often set their aims higher, thinking about important global problems.
And I'd always felt like the environmental movement was something I'd like to spend some time on. And we decided that conservation of nature has tended to be land-based, and the oceans seem to be running a very distant second to the land-based activity. So we chose that as being our principal interest in environmental activities of the foundation. And we decided that the Smithsonian was the perfect place for me to sort of dig in a little. And so when it came time to put in the Ocean Hall, it was a natural for us to think, yes, this is our chance to get 7.5 million people a little more up to speed as to what the threats are that the oceans are facing today. I do think the real satisfaction comes from looking at something that sort of needs to be fixed or needs to be improved and being a part of improving it if you feel that that particular thing is a really important part of society.
At SHI, we have an employee matching program, and we encourage our employees to give back to the community. And as part of that encouragement, we match dollar for dollar employees' contributions to various different charity organizations. And we know that everyone has causes that they support personally and care about. And for me, that important cause is cancer research. Over 10 years ago, my older sister, Margaret, was diagnosed with really a death sentence, and we insisted on my sister receiving a surgery as well as chemotherapy and radiation treatment. And today she is free of cancer, which is really a miracle of sorts. And since my sister was diagnosed, we've been really funding a lot of research.
I believe a lot in education, so most of our philanthropic efforts have been in education, something which has a multiplier effect. And we also try to concentrate on things which will go beyond the immediate thing we see. So always in education we believe that to help educate people, which will hire people, which will educate people, so the efficiency of the investment for us is very important. So we are always focused on something where we have some kind of attachment and where we know our money is going to be well invested.
When we were a new firm in the late 60s and early 70s, we didn't have a lot of excess cash flow to devote to charitable contributions, so we decided that we wanted to use a tried and true method of selection, and it took the least time for us, and we joined the United Way. Today, we probably support another 300 or 400 organizations a year. We do lots of education support for scholarships and things of that nature, and joint programs with our local universities. We've sent in mentors to help in private and public schools, to teach courses, to be big brothers to the students. You know, when you've been involved in anything a long time and it's meant a lot to you, it's actually important that you give back. And since I've been fortunate in business, I had the ability to do that.
We've been so fortunate. We've had such great opportunities. It is incumbent on us to give back. And that's how I ended up founding Strategic Grant Partners. Our philosophy is once you're a grantee of ours, we will do whatever it takes to help you be successful. If your objective is to actually change the way things are, it's hard. So we don't love to do giving that's about just direct service. We're much more in the creating the access to opportunities to retain people's dignity so they can help themselves to a better place in their lives. I think people have forgotten that the best charity you can do is to start a business and create jobs. People don't need fixing. Our structures need fixing. Our economy needs fixing. We need more jobs. We need innovation. We need to be at the forefront. America has to have the best educated students, and we have to have the most innovative companies. And if we lose that, social problems grow.
Harvard Business School graduates are leaders in their community. Every day they put their skills to use as business leaders to important social causes. And these illustrious alumni have each, in their own ways, made very important contributions, not just in business, but for society more broadly. Whether it be education, health, poverty, bringing the arts to the world, in so many ways, these distinguished alumni are truly dedicated to making the world a better place, to be seen as citizens who gave back to society because they were so benefited from what society gave to them.